Hey, beautiful people. Good afternoon. Welcome back. Happy Sunday over the farm. At your salute. Ola, I can still hear myself.
You can hear yourself.
Please fix your mic.
Okay, it's probably just picking up too much. Let me see.
Yeah, maybe you reduce the volume. Hey,
How is
guys.
this?
Welcome. Welcome.
This should be better. How's this?
Yeah, can
Okay,
still hear myself.
I'll go. Is the
Try
mic
and
that
fix it.
strong? How's this? Better?
Okay, it's better. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I hope you guys are well. Chidima, welcome. Lady Uzo, welcome, welcome. D, how are you? Buki, I hope you're all right. This corner, thank you everybody for joining us. I'm here with our brother, our friend, man of prestige. He doesn't need any introduction on this platform. Ola doesn't need much introduction because everybody that is about the farm knows who man of prestige Ola is.
I hope so.
As a matter of fact, a lot of you are his fans already, so he doesn't need any introduction. But Ola is here on a very special mission today. Yeah, welcome, Ola.
Yes, ma. How are you, Auntie B?
I'm good, thank you. Happy
Sarah, ba.
Sunday.
Oh God, Joe. Are you sure it's
Adúpẹ́
evening
o.
time? Okay, it's actually. Are you going out or something?
I'm
It's
dressed
ready
for the
for
show
dinner.
now.
You're for this show. Looks like you're ready for dinner.
Moji, geng for the show. All this is for the show. Going out, Kemusha, they like the church ni.
Mm.
Oh dear.
Ekpele.
I'm all dressed up for the show.
Well, thanks for having me
Oh,
as always. You're a blessing. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you so much for supporting what we're doing.
we bless God. We
Yeah.
bless God. We are here for one another.
Yes.
Thank you
Yes.
for being a very valued member of our community. If not for you guys, that's why I appreciate our brothers so much. Iwo, Bio,
Uncle
Brother Ben,
Beno.
Brother Patrick,
Mm-hmm.
Toba Jenny, ha. Timo, even with you people still here, we know what we'll go through in terms of the kind of names that they call us. But at least you
Yeah.
guys are giving us that cover. So we appreciate you. Appreciate God. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah.
So what's going on? I'm hearing a lot of things. I've not been online for like 3 days now. I'm hearing DNA. I'm hearing Pastor Tobi. I'm hearing your bestie,
Which
DM.
one?
Kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀?
My bestie.
Your bestie.
Yeah. Daddy freeze my G. Okay. All
Yes,
right.
your
All right.
G.
If you want to say it that way,
What is
sure.
going on with these DNA things?
So it just to me it just seems like Nigerians are obsessed with DNA, the idea of DNA, and yeah, the more we see that, the more people will collect me, because that's not the issues. Those are not the issues. I think this young man, I covered a story a while back. I don't know, maybe it's not up to 6 months, maybe 3 months. His name is Kayode Olanrewaju. Was a footballer. So he came out just basically dragging his wife, and we've seen that before. When people just start to drag. Even today now, this morning before I woke up, Harry Song, the singer, was dragging his ex-wife.
Oh my God.
You know,
That one,
so
the things he was saying, another Israel. Kilo Day, what's going on? We know we say we want men to be expressive. We want you guys
hey,
to
no,
speak
you don't
out.
want it anymore. You want them to
No, we
talk
do
now.
want it, but come on now. Do it with dignity and some respect now.
Uh
The way I saw Harrison talking, don't blab anywhere, he reminded me of Juju. Exactly the same thing Israel was doing. No wonder Israel was in the comment section.
I was
Hailing
about to say, guess who was in the
him. Was
comment?
hailing him.
Guess who was in the comment?
What is this? You can, I mean, it's not,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say we should shut men up. Yeah, we want men to speak out, but as a man, you're supposed to be a leader and speak the way a leader should speak. Don't go
Yeah.
all emotional and start cussing people, calling out your in-laws. The kind of things that he was saying in that short video that I saw, talking about the mother-in-law and how she's been on her seventh husband. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, it's sad to watch. I try to apply patience with my brothers because they are going to need a lot more patience these days, even more than the ladies. I find, because we're not used to the idea of speaking up. It's a complete strange idea to us due to many different factors. Mainly socialization, the way we've been socialized. We can't just, and we have family to protect. We have children and wives, empires to protect. So it's not as simple as jumping out there and start running our mouth. because we can self-destruct when we talk too much. So, but many of them are going through a lot of pain, internal pain. That now they say, okay, let's speak up. They want to match energy with the women, and it's not
Women,
going to
yeah,
work. It's
it
not
won't
going to work.
work.
Yeah,
You can't be. I'm not saying men should not be emotional, but don't come down to the because we as women we are mastering the art of speaking our truth without being all emotional and sentimental,
yeah.
sticking to the real issues. But I struggle with seeing a man who comes online, especially to drag their ex in-laws.
Drag a ex, particularly to drag a ex.
Drag ex, drag in-laws. I mean, no wonder the comment section,
Yeah,
when I was looking through
drag
the comment
in-laws.
section, people were like, and the guy was like, oh, I didn't sleep with her for 1 whole year. So how did she get pregnant?
And he's
Like,
throwing himself under the bus.
oh my
Because
God.
now we are asking, why didn't you sleep with your wife for 1 year?
And this is a 40-something-year-old man married a young girl who was only 25. And then he said so many things that he was just giving out red flags.
Yeah.
Like that Harry song or whatever it's called.
Harry
He
song.
said he left his girlfriend of 10 years.
Yeah, yeah. Harry Song's drama started with the way he exited his last label. The label by I think it's called Five Star or Five Star with KC and E Money. The way he exited that label, you could just tell that this is a person that lack emotional self control. Shortly after that, he just started dragging the. I think the wife also came out and said she wanted out of the marriage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, as to be expected, the wife ended up on just like this guy's wife too, Orishefemi,
Sheila.
Nabila.
Oh, Shafami's one, yeah. All of them. They are really talking. The entertainers are really talking these days.
Sebi, now I want them to speak up. They are
I want
speaking
them to
up.
speak. They are speaking.
You know. So,
Oh my God.
if you recall, Auntie B, when I first came on the scene about 2 years ago, or maybe 18 months ago, I pushed against it. I said, I don't like the idea of telling men to speak up or they should be more vulnerable. Because when you tell a man to be vulnerable, I know what that means. It just means something that's a necessary ingredient of any healthy relationship. I know what that means. An average man does not know what that means. When you tell them to be vulnerable, what they hear, if they have gone through shege with a woman,
Yeah.
is to drag that woman.
Okay.
That's what they're hearing.
So it's just expressing their own pain.
Yes. If you tell a man in a healthy situation to be vulnerable, there's a good chance he's already practicing that. Because he feels free, he can be vulnerable with his lady, he can speak up, he can say, babe, this is what I'm going through. He can say, babe, the finances is not meeting this month. I'm gonna need your help over here. Babe, I got you covered over there. He can be open, he can feel free. He doesn't have to keep secrets. He doesn't have to be quote unquote like everybody feels safe, right? So when you say vulnerable to that person, they understand what that means. When you tell an Israel to be vulnerable, or you tell Emekaike, at least he calm down now. When you tell these people to be vulnerable, can you handle it?
In fact, our mental health cannot handle it, honestly, Ola. Because this guy, the Harry song that we're talking about, I only saw like maybe 2 minutes of the video. And the things he said in that 2 minutes, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And everybody in the comment section is like, you are a much older man. You are at least maybe 20 years older than this girl.
20
You took
years.
her after leaving your ex-girlfriend of 10 years.
Of 10 years. He used his own mouth to say that too, right? He told us by himself. I left my girlfriend of 10 years. Can you at least tell us why you left the other girlfriend too? No, you won't tell us. You just want to, there's only one motive, to drag your ex.
The ex, yes.
Right?
It's not a good look when a man drags his ex. It's never a good look.
Yeah.
For a woman, people will they'll give a little bit room because she's a woman, she's emotional.
Yes.
But for a man, it's a really bad look.
Yes.
It's not good at all.
The same thing that us men were complaining about is exactly why you shouldn't jump out into the public and run your mouth anyhow. You don't have that luxury. You're not protected in that manner. You can't afford it. You can't afford it. So so back to this Kayode Olanrewaju. He accused his wife of sleeping with Pastor Tobi.
Uh-huh.
Now, all of that is alleged. I don't know from just the little I see on the screen on our regular screen like this with Pastor Tobi, Auntie B. These pastors are capable and capable and capable of anything. These pastors can mistakenly fall into bolas. Oh, did I say bola? Swallow, not the swallow, not the swallow.
Hola!
Sorry, sorry,
What
sorry.
are you talking
I
about?
meant Auntie B. They are mistakenly falling into bola here in America.
Eh.
You haven't? Have you seen the swallow video? The
Hold
Prestige
on, hold
family
on a
was
minute.
showing me
What
the
does it mean
swallow
to
video.
mistakenly fall into Bola? I don't understand.
Oh deep, gone. Oh deep.
How deep? Oh, yeah,
Maybe the
Javile. There's no time. We don't have time for that.
Yeah. Have you ever been swallowed? I'm like, wait, what? The whole pastor. Anyway, let's leave that topic alone.
But pastors are humans now. They are humans. But why do you
Yeah.
think Olanraju is the one that's been dragging the wife? The wife, I think I only saw something that she finally put out when the DNA thing came out. Because
Right.
she's now saying that he's alleging that Pastor Tobi is the father of all the children. First of all, he says she sold property, she sold cars and gave him money. I mean,
Yeah. It's
well, I just see you.
it's crazy. But today we're talking about the dark side of marriage, right? The
Yeah.
shocking betrayals of marriage. The way people receive betrayal is not anybody's mate. Betrayals, we talk about lies, deception, or perceived lies and deception, or people that are simply not prepared for marriage, which is almost, dare I say, almost all of us. Actually, I really want to say all of us. We're never prepared for marriage. Okay? Nobody prepares us for this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
they prepared us women. They didn't prepare you men.
I disagree.
They
But
didn't prepare us for all the shake and all the wahala. They prepared us for, making it work.
so I think I know exactly what you're saying, and there's truth to it, right? What the truth that's there is that they teach women all of the how you should submit,
Yeah.
right? But we find that's not enough,
Yeah, it's not.
right?
Or
You
the
submit.
marriages will not be cracking up and down.
Yes, if
Yeah.
that worked, we wouldn't be in this mess. If
Yeah.
that worked, after all, they practice it more than most men will say, oh, yeah, our mother, how they used to. If it worked, it shouldn't have crumbled. So clearly it crumbled. It did not work up to now. What happened? If submission is all it took, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when people come to me, even women will come to me sometimes like, well, I just feel like they will be shaming themselves. They may be guilt tripping themselves. That's not the issue. You're not capable of submitting to a man who does not have a mission. You can't do that. You will self-sabotage. You will hurt yourself in the process. It's not sustainable. You can dash him respect. You can dash him submission. You can dash person trust. But that can only last for so long. At some point, that person needs to, the way our society is set up, it needs to be earned.
Okay, let's leave the Olarewaju people and Harry, because those ones, if we want to get into it today, we will not get to the real cocoa of why we're here. So coming to you, Ola, some of us know your story, but do you want to quickly give us a recap of your own personal story?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So I started like everybody else. I was actually raised in a household that you might consider perfect. Except that at some point my father mistakenly fell into a kwekus too. And
Oh, Ola, please, this is your mistake. Mistakenly, how is all this mistake happening? How come they're not falling into bank accounts and falling into, always,
right. So
Okay, go ahead.
so that we were blessed with I was blessed with a half sister in that situation, and but my father wasn't the player. He was just what you might consider like he was passing through. Like if you're going to define anything as mistake, he's the closest thing to it. We know there's no such thing, but he's the closest thing to it. He's not that kind of. Some of you already met my father. He was on the show here with me. And then he became almost instantly, as soon as that happened, he became an elder. He really followed, and he's been steadfast since then, as a minister. But also that presented another type of problem. We patched a lot of things together when it comes to marriages and relationship with religion, right? AKA where things like submission comes from and stuff like this. But what we find out is that as time goes on, with the nature of human beings, we're discovering more and more and more and more every day, right? People discover they have options. They don't have to stay in a subjugated situation. They have options. They have choices. So people exercise those options and choices more so in a way that's documented. So unfortunately, today we have crazy statistics, to back up why what didn't work. So I found myself in the same situation. I always thought I've always been this guy that you guys see right now, but I wasn't always tested. You see what I'm saying? You can know all of this stuff with theoretical. You all
Yeah.
should do this. You
But the
should
real
know how to
life
do
is
this.
different.
Exactly. So I wasn't yet so even before I entered my own crisis, before my wife and I entered our own crisis, I had been helping people. I would give them one tip like that, and I have cases upon cases of people that would they would basically implement that one tip, and some of them have redeemed their marriage and they are thriving today. You know, so the one particular last story, this person came to me and they said they wanted to confide in me. She looked all around. She couldn't find anybody because, when you share this kind of issue, they spread very fast too. And then she shared it with me. She had experienced a lot of betrayal with her husband, a lot. And also, she didn't feel like the husband was ambitious enough. Remember some few weeks ago we talked about that
Yeah.
here, right?
Yeah.
So she also her head was gingered when she see hustlers and all this guy, the ones that are using the Gucci better, that ginger hair that makes her smell good. She wanted considering all of that, and it's also a japa imported
Situation.
husband situation, which I have tons of cases of that as well. So when you mix that up together with things that might be considered lies or deception, when you discover new things about your spouse, some of them come off as this person told you a lie all along. Really, what's going on is they're revealing themselves to you. But anyway, she ended up doing what she wasn't very proud of. Okay,
She fell
so
into, she too
she
mistakenly
fell
fell
on, she fell
into,
on Ebola by
she
mistake.
first, she fell into,
This time she didn't fall into Ebola, she fell on it.
she fell on the goal. Oh my God. All this
Yeah.
falling. People are just falling right, left, and center. And the only
Right.
place they can land on, they are
Right.
always landing on Gola and Pekus. Oh, yeah.
Right. So that's when she reached out very randomly, and I said, and she was considering divorce because the guilt was also eating her up.
Right.
So even though the husband had found out, the guy was still begging for her to stay. So that's contrary to a lot of belief system we carry around because we say it on social media.
Yeah.
Men will never forgive
Cheating.
irony.
Nigerian men.
You just won't know when they decide to forgive because it's a thing of pride. The so I say ego, right, is involved, right? So if somebody decides to put their family together and protect and stuff like that, and they don't want to talk about the transgressions of their wife, you may never find out. Right?
True.
So you might hear a lot of things that men cheat more, women cheat. Who knows? Nobody knows. It's because
Exactly.
remember
I don't
how
know
we
why
started.
people. Yeah, I don't think anybody has an answer to that. Men will say women cheat more. Women will say men cheat. So until you show me the data, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Because remember how we started this show. Men speaking up. It's never really been an acceptable thing for men to
Yeah.
speak up.
Yeah.
Partly not because they don't want to speak up, because again, a man is moved by admiration, by loyalty, and by respect. So anything that would tamper with that, even if he decides in the corner of his room to make certain moves to protect his family, you may never find out. But anyway, the guy was begging all that, so she reached out and she was quite confused with that situation. And basically, one little tip is what I shared with her. One little tip, and it's basically the power that we have to assign meanings to the events of life, right? There's a power that we have to assign meanings to the events of life. It's
What
like
does that mean?
So if you look at this half glass empty cup right now, right, I can see it as God does not like me. Other people can see that, wow, God has blessed me with so much more to work with. It's an event. Something happened. Life happens. You imported a husband. Somebody imported a wife, right? And then suddenly you discover that you are discovering. things you did not know, right?
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
see it as an opportunity to learn, or you can see it as this person lied to you all along.
Hmm.
Okay? So I'm going to talk about that in a second. So remember, we're also talking about from love to lies.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of people are dealing with internal lies, they're dealing with societal lies, they're dealing with a lot of things like that. But anyway, when she shared that stuff with me, I shared that with her, and that was all she took. The next thing I saw later on, about 2 years later on, she tagged me in a social media post thanking me randomly for saving her marriage.
They made it work.
Right. Now, it was very random because it's just one small advice, right? Now they are thriving, but little did she probably didn't know that there's no way she would know that at that time my wife had already filed for divorce. About that same exact time, she already filed for divorce. So I was going through a lot. My second business at the time had crashed. I was trying to put it together. We always, every now and then, arguments comes up between couples. We've normalized argument. I tell people to avoid arguments. So but most people have no argument. There's nothing wrong with a little argument. When they say that, there's problem with that. Everything is wrong with arguments. And I'm
Yeah.
saying that because I know you will argue. I'm not saying you won't argue.
Yeah.
You know, so there's disagreement, but then
How
there's
do you
another level.
how do you avoid arguments?
Self-awareness. It starts with self-awareness. So, for example, as I just mentioned it right now, you just know at the back of your mind that this argument is not going to lead to anywhere good. The closest thing to good that it will lead to is resentment. So sometimes you might feel like you won the argument. Arguments are staged for one person to win against the other person. So you are basically staging yourself to win against somebody who is supposed to be on your team, right? And so you have a need to be right. You have an ops. Sorry, I had to mute. You're muted. Auntie B, you're muted.
And yeah, sorry, it
Okay.
was a call coming in.
Okay.
Go
Okay. Sure.
ahead.
Sure. Yeah. So arguments are basically in action. I'm right. You're wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. By default, when we're dealing with a marriage, which is what I'm talking about, right? If I'm right and you're wrong, that makes me automatically wrong. I might not know it. Short term, I might feel like I won, right? But that resentment is coming back to bite me in the butt later on. Okay, so the first step to avoiding it is what I just said. Just know this at the back of your mind. Arguments will happen, but the goal is avoid it, right? Avoid it. When you avoid it, it cannot be a vacuum. It needs to be replaced with active listening. It cannot be a vacuum. If it's a vacuum, you're basically being a doormat. Somebody is beating you up with words, right? And we know how that turns out. That's another form of abuse.
Yeah.
Okay. But when you engage active listening, it can suddenly switch to something. It's an opportunity for you to flip that event into greatness in your situation. Okay. So, and that's basic. So I was going through that in the middle of that. So I was also discovering a lot about myself. I was discovering a lot about the way I was raised. I was also discovering a lot about the way the person that I'm with was raised 8-9 years into a marriage for the first time ever. So she was raised in a situation that's kind of similar, except that her father was a little bit slightly different. So my father is minister. The father is like, it is what it is. There's a difference, right? So, and there's a lot of bickering, venting from both of our mothers. They thought they were just talking. They were just walking around the house, sharing with somebody else on the phone. But the kids listen to this kind of stuff. They internalize it. So by the time I found out later on that by the time my wife was coming into our marriage, she had a lot of preconceived lies that has been built there over time. She was just waiting for them to manifest. These are some of the lies that I'm talking about, So in the middle of that, I took up a new gig, because again, business was crumbling. I've never really worked a 9 to 5 in my life. So, and that's as a computer engineering graduate, as a master's degree in engineering management person, I just chose not to go the route of 9 to 5. So there was a lot of struggle with that. So it was my first opportunity to engage corporate world, and so I took on the opportunity to get out there. I was consulting in healthcare. It involved traveling. It was also an opportunity for me to back off of the situation, right? So on one of those occasions, I basically, I was traveled. When I came back home, The closets were empty.
Hmm.
Yeah. My kids were not in the house. Um, I was lucky enough that the my in-laws were around the corner, so
Mm-hmm.
about 5-10 minutes away. So I gave her a call. I said, so now typically I will overreact to that,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I did, because of the stuff I'd been learning at that time, I was like, this is the devil. We know what to do with this one.
The devil is he's trying to scatter your home.
Because already at that time, so by the time I was talking about the argument that we had, right? And the way she received argument was different from the way I received argument. For me, argument was normalized. Shebi I disagree. Ọ̀rọ̀ kí n tóbi jù ká for bebu, right? Now talk, we go talk calm now, right? And we go understand. The way she received it was quite different.
So if Unaya is asking a question, we are not doing question yet, but I don't know if it's a he or she. Said Obodoyibo, this guy speaking a marriage counselor? He has been speaking without any scriptural backing in support of his points.
What point?
What scripture?
Elaborate.
Did I introduce him to you as a pastor?
What he did?
Which one is scripture?
Elaborate. What point? Tell us more of your story.
I'm confused. Tell me more. Ifunanya, did I tell you that Allah is a pastor? Allah is a coach. He's a relationship coach. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So please leave scripture alone. We're not here to talk scripture. He's not a pastor.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are talking relationship.
That's interesting. That's
So
actually
listen.
interesting. Because I also mentioned my father is a minister. He's still
He said his
steadfast to
father is a
today.
minister, not him.
And one of the downsides of that, everything in life has two sides to it, right? Because remember, my wife was raised both a Muslim and a Christian, right? So mommy, my mother-in-law, will go to mosque on Friday, and she's ready to do Thanksgiving with you guys on Sunday.
That's so confusing. It's so confusing for the children. I never understand families that, they practice both faiths, raising children like that. I'm not judging, but it's so confusing for children.
Believe it or not, and to be, I learned that this was the norm for a lot of Yoruba people. Yoruba people
in
has
Yoruba
a lot
land,
of
it's done
Muslims.
quite a lot, yes.
In the same household, you have some
Yes.
people that are Muslims and some people are
Yes.
Christian. I
Yes.
wasn't exposed to that. Guess what that became for me? Closed-minded.
Right.
Shout out to Ifunanya. That's what that became. When you are interacting with other human beings, always remember you are interacting with another whole human being. That's why you need active listening. You listen with an intention to understand, not to respond. This is a common say on the internet, but we have not internalized this. We don't understand what this means in reality. I was in the same boat.
Okay, I'll finish your story very quickly because we're going to get to the real thing
we're
now.
there.
It's
We're almost there.
half an hour. Mm-hmm.
We're almost there. So, but anyway, I started going through, this stuff and stuff like that, But funny enough, she had been doing something similar. Okay. She was also trying to figure out. I said one of the things she was trying to figure out is like Yali Kiri. I said, you go ahead, you go do what do you call it, Thanksgiving with some people in a church. Not to me. The next thing they tell you something. They say your husband is not supposed to be a Kayode. It's supposed to be a Bankole.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she encountered things like that. Imagine how confusing that becomes for a person, right?
Especially when you are going through stuff in your marriage.
Yes.
It's just going to amplify everything.
It just makes it worse.
Yeah.
So, but when you are prepared, even as an individual, right? Anything is possible, and that's what I was, So I had already learned that I tried different things. I tried common sense. You know how I feel about common sense. I tried. What do you call it? This thing. I tried. Your wife, happy wife, happy life.
Happy life.
Right.
It didn't work.
None of that stuff worked. So, but anyway, at that point where I came home, I just called her. I said, hey, come. I just said, where are you? What happens? Well, I'm going to be here for a while. That's what she told me. I said, okay, no problem. Just come through. I said, just come over. That's what I said. So she came over. I went upstairs. I showered. I took care of myself. I was smelling because I just came off a flight. So smell look good, real nice, everything. Like I said, you know what? When she came home, she expected that this would be like, how dare
Right.
you take
You
my
took my children, left
yeah.
my house when I was not here. She meant the
because
opposite.
because guess what Christianity would have taught me? To remind her of all the rules she's breaking in
She's not
Corinthians and
submitting.
Malachi.
Malaka. What did Malaka say?
Sorry, I want tight people.
Oh my God, Allah says Malaka. Malaka called Jeremiah.
So, but you know, I already got caught in some of those web. I be called family meeting. All that stuff was tried. You know, at some point I even told some people wanted to do family meeting. I said, no, leave my wife alone. That's what I told them. You know, at that time I knew the marriage was over, but I told them leave my wife alone because the way my brain worked at that time is that she's my wife. At the time, 2 kids, I was like, she's always my wife. That's how I felt because of all the stuff I had been learning at that time. So I said, okay, I'm just hungry. Can you take me? Because she had the car. So can you take me to go and find something to eat? When she stopped by, we got there. Before we finished the lunch, she was already sitting on my lap.
Le bâton, ìjà ti parí.
What big? So she now gave me a few tips here and there of how I can go about to make sure that all this stuff will go about. One of them is to talk to her father. I said, Father. I said, we'll go for. I talked to the father. The father was like, well, because he was trying to protect his daughter. Like, I just don't want any problems. I said, hey, Baba, you two, you don't, because it seemed like everybody had.
They're taking sides. Everybody has chosen their camp.
I said, this is easy. I got this. You know, by the time we finished that week, we had a conversation with my pastor. My pastor said, you guys should do a project together. And lo and behold, we have the prestige marriage system. And that's the project. That's when we started to write the book.
So tell us about this prestige family system. What does it mean specifically? And how do you use it in helping people to overcome issues in marriage like infidelity, betrayal, lies, and this so-called dark side of marriage?
Yeah, that dark side thing sounds so dark, but the reality
it sounds menacing. It sounds scary.
That's how I feel when people start to tell their story. I'm like, you know, even up to when people say, marriage is work. A part of me is like, you know, but then I've had enough of these cases, enough clients to know that this is a dark situation for a lot of people, you know. But the marriage, the prestige marriage system is particular for we say marriage because honestly, the single ones are not ready. All of them will collect first, you know. But don't let me prejudge. The single ones that tend to be ready are divorcees. They've been through this, what we're talking about, this darkest time, and they have a frame of reference. They know that this is a serious deal. This is not something we joke around or trivialize. This is not something you bring your pastor's talking point into. There's nothing wrong with your pastor. Majority of them, they just want to eat, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. We need them in society. But some of them, a few of them, like the Dr. Kingsleys, like the Dr. Shola, they've also been doing the work. I've observed the Dr. Shola evolve over time. I've been following him for a long time. This is not something you learn in one day. Stuff you evolve and you continue to learn.
Yeah.
So because of that, the prestige marriage system is not your one-time counseling session. It's not. We give that one for free. I'll give you that one, access to that for free when we're done today. Okay? But it's a system that is supposed that we wish we had. You know how people go and drive on the street. If you're in the Western world and you drive, you get caught by police, right? You collect tickets. If you do it enough time, you will end up in
losing
jail.
your license. Yeah.
Or even in jail. You know. So we know that we can go and drive car on the street, but we get into marriage, right? And all we have is a bunch of scriptures that you are interpreting in the way that only work with one side of your brain that works. So this system is designed into 3 different systems. The first thing is what we call the GPS system. We've talked about that here before, the GPS system, God, purpose, self. If you're not a believer in God, gratitude, purpose, self. It doesn't matter. All of us belong in something, right? But if you yourself, you're not enough. Because you cannot carry the weight of another human being.
So if I can just, because some people may be missing it, I think some people are not listening properly to really understand what you're saying. Let me just paraphrase. So you are saying that this prestige family system that you're talking about is what you and your wife Lola used
Yes,
when
that's
you had
all
issues
we
in your
use.
own marriage that worked for you, and now you are offering this to
Yes,
people who are going through, they're going through things in their marriage to help them save their marriage.
correct. Yep,
Okay.
yep.
So you got it now. If you
Yep.
don't
It's
got it,
we can slow down here now. You've got, if you want my full story, we have my full story. It's available in the book for free. The free is available.
no, it's
The
just
the
that
the book,
sometimes
yeah.
Ola, you can be like a teacher.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Òyìnbó ẹ̀ ti máa ń pọ̀ jù, mo máa ń sọ
Òyìnbó mi
fún ẹ.
pọ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ ká slow
Òyìnbó
me
ti
down.
pọ̀ jù. You have to break it down to everybody's level. Kò ń ṣe everybody ló kàwé.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do
Way that
that. Let's
everybody
do
will
that.
understand. Yeah.
No, no, I agree with you 100%. Let's do that. Let's go with, if you have questions or specific questions based off of everything I've said so far, put a Q behind it and then put it in the chat and TB will grab it.
Rebecca Hughes, thank you so much for the super chat. You have a question for Man of Praise. You say, what do you mean when you say single lady? When you say single people are not ready? Kilo mean?
That's a good question. That's a fantastic question. You see, in life, you have to, the best of life, right, are what we call diamonds or gold, right? They have to go through pressure or they have to go through heat. The same is true across the board. How much heat, how much pressure, we don't know. It's individual by individual basis, right? What I find, okay, sorry if it comes off as shots, it's just an opportunity for you to internalize it and see, maybe I should be asking more questions. What I find is that, because I was that same guy, single people, they make more assertions than asking questions. And me, and shout out to Rebecca, she's also Prestige family, so she knows to ask questions. Single people mostly don't ask questions, they just have opinions. And that's fine. It's a phase of life. Right? See, me, I can't afford my time to be helping you turn your assertions or argue with your assertions. Me, I always tell you are right. Remember? The Prestige family know that. Because your experience is what's creating your outlook on life. But when you've been inside this thing, and to be me and you know, you will have questions. You'll be confused. You will have moments when you're confused. We call it the dark times. It's real. If you don't go through the dark time, your spouse will go through the dark times. Guess who is effectively going through the dark times? You. Guess who else? Your children. So it's not a shot. It's just to give you an opportunity to say, maybe reflect on that, you know.
Yeah, and ask more questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you have this system that you developed with your wife
Yes.
that works in helping couples go through, really have those conversations and work through issues in their marriage. How does it work?
Right. So thank you so much for that. So Auntie B, I have a lot of clients at this point. Okay. I have a particular, I can't mention names because of confidentiality
Of
reasons,
course.
right? So I have a particular client and she signed up, paid a lot of money, by the way, paid lots of money. Okay. So, and then what she wanted us to do is to help her invite her husband so we can correct the guy.
Oh my God. So how did that work? Was it corrected?
We have to also, we have to yield to our clients. We have to kind of help work with them. Hopefully they won't get tired of the process, right? So we're like, that's what you want? Would he say, oh yeah, he said I should go
So
and,
she is perfect. She just needs the man's head to be corrected.
yes.
Okay.
So these days we can hear it, even if they don't say it out like that, we can hear what they want even before they say it,
Right.
So, but this particular person, so, okay, all right, no problem. He can plug in, just share the links, The guy just come like this, just stiff,
Le bâton.
you know.
They probably dragged him there. A lot of
So-
Nigerian men or men don't like counseling or any therapy at all.
Exactly.
They won't
At
come.
least not in that way. Not
Yeah.
in that way. Because it seemed like the guy was also trying. He was also trying to give the wife what she wanted. but he wasn't ready for that. He was being accused of infidelity. He was being accused of infidelity across the ocean in Nigeria, and all that stuff is triggering even to people that are actually doing it. So they don't that so. And for me, I'm equipped to learn how to still make them feel safe, right? But the problem there is that the person we're trying to help, the person that asked for help, is not prepared. They will be triggered, right? So the first system, there are three systems inside of the prestige marriage system. There are three systems in it. The first system is called the GPS. Is God, purpose, self. Is to build you first, so you are prepared for the greatness to come. You attracted that situation. That doesn't mean it's your fault. It's just your reality, right? You need to be prepared. And you cannot do that in a 1 hour session. Like I said, we give you that one for free. You cannot do that in a 1 hour session. What if even if you manage to drag your partner to a 1 hour session, you will mostly just argue there. The best that can happen out of it is a makeup kerewa, sorry. And then you will get that same issue will come back in 2 months
in the morning.
Yes. So the first part of the system is to build yourself, and yourself is bigger than just this physical body or your way. There's God involved in that. There's your life purpose and mission involved in that, and we need to make sure those things come to the surface first, because if it doesn't, you're going to self-sabotage the process. The second part of the system is called the lies to light system. So we're talking about love to lies here today, right? What about the lies to light, right?
Yeah.
That's what the system is about. It's about tailoring the GPS system to your story. There is no system in the world that just works for everybody. It doesn't exist. It needs to be tailored to your particular story, right? So we need to know the specifics of what made you, how you were raised, what's your reality today, right? And that's the second part of the system. The third part of the system is called the assurance system. We're talking about habits, either bad habits on your part or your spouse's part. You cannot change that overnight. It needs to be sustainable. Whatever it is that we're helping you with needs to be sustainable, and that's what the assurance system does. So those are three parts of the system. It's designed to be sustainable. It's designed to be time sensitive, as in, like, we're not bringing 1960 tactics into your marriage. It's based off of your particular situation, and it's based off of your reality and has how it fits. If this is a husband or wife that you once upon a time cared about, it works.
So it's designed specifically to each couple according to based off on their own specific situation.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so it's not like a one size fits all kind of thing.
Nope.
Right. Okay.
Nope. Yeah.
All right. Before you continue, let's quickly take this question from Eitayo. She said, "How do you advise a single lady getting married to a divorcee?" I meant, what kind of questions should she be asking this person? He's divorced, and I want to believe that she's never been married before.
That's a good question. Now, if you're a single lady and you're trying to get with a divorcee, open-ended questions works. Questions that are thank you for asking that question. You know me, I can get stuck at Oyinbo now.
Open-ended. Ola, people that didn't go to school, can they come to this your course?
That's why I have you now. Of course. But the point here is that open-ended question. If you're a learned person, right, you can at least get on Google and ask what is open-ended. But me, I'm here today to help you with that, right? Open-ended questions are basically opposite of yes and no questions.
Okay.
Right? Yes and no questions. Do you have an 850 credit score? Yes. No. Those questions are terrible, or anything that looks like that. Right?
Okay.
Open-ended questions are designed to get to know the person. So it can start with something about, tell me about yourself.
Or tell me about your tell me about your credit history.
I wouldn't do that. If you're getting to know a person, that information should rise to the surface by itself.
No, I'm just saying, instead of saying, do you have a situation
for that,
like that?
Specific, right? Let's say you find
somebody,
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Let's say you find yourself and the person is talking on the phone, and you heard some things that sound like this person might be in financial issues, and that provokes something that, of course, but I wouldn't say, so what's your score? right? Like if conversation gets there and you're talking about credit history, yeah, tell me about. But I want you to get to know the person.
first. And how do you get to know people? Like if you meet people, how do you grow that? Because we keep talking about friendship, building friendship before, it seems like a lot of people, because we have situations here on the platform when we talk about issues and people are like, how didn't you know about the person? How didn't you know about the person?
I
So
know.
I realize that a lot of people are just jumping into Kerewa all the time without building friendship and not really getting to know the person.
Yeah, you know why those questions are coming up? That how what like that's because those people they can't relate. Like, wait, we're already doing marriage and we're not friends. I'm confused. How did you get there?
Yeah.
Right? Because natural order of things, the friendship things is like trust, it's like respect, it's like love. They kind of like they follow certain behavior. They're not the leading in behavior. You don't go there and say I want to trust. You can try. There's certain space you get to in life. Like say I'm gonna choose to trust. But when you are fresh, you're a single lady. It's either you trust or you don't trust. It's as simple as that. People can make you feel safe enough to trust, right?
Yeah.
So, but to answer the question, and to be right,
Mm.
you open-ended question. One, tell me about, wow, that's interesting. What is that about? Open-ended question that doesn't push people into a corner where they now feel like they have to, like, this is jam question or something, right? They would tell more than you get them comfortable to talk. When they talk, remember we talk about that, they will tell on themselves. But if you give them closed-ended questions, you are teaching them to lie to you because you're actually showing your own weakness. Okay?
Is this a good advice to talk to the ex?
No, terrible. It sounds like you don't feel safe. You shouldn't be in this situation at all. Right?
Are you going to start stalking the ex-wife on social media and send her a
Yeah.
message and say, I met with your ex-husband and we're in a relationship. Please tell me, what did he do? How
It's
was
like
it?
that question is like saying, is it okay to go and search his phone? It's already bad. It's
Yeah.
already
I
bad.
think if you want to know things about, like for me, what I
Yeah.
would advise in that situation is for Sharon that is asking that question about, or who asked the question about marrying a divorcee, I think you can learn a lot about people when they talk about their previous relationships.
Thank you. He will
The way
talk.
they talk about their relationships, they
Thank
will
you.
ask.
Imagine
You guys,
dating Israel. He will talk about his ex. You don't have to ask.
he will tell you from morning till night how terrible she was
And
as a
then that's your
person.
cue to run.
You know what you always say, Ola? Eventually, people will tell on themselves
They
when they keep
tell on
talking.
themselves. They tell
Yeah.
on themselves. So the only reason why people will not wait for that is because they might feel like they're feeling pressure. They feel like they have to rush into marriage. And in that space, you're operating from a place of fear and anxiety. You're not going to create a good marriage in that space. You will end up attracting people that will see you as easy target. Because you tell on yourself too, the way you carry yourself. They can tell you're desperate and you don't want to be in that space. And I understand if you've gone through some things that make you feel like you are pressurized, maybe some auntie is bothering you and all that kind of, I get it. But you can also use some help with handling, because that's fear and anxiety. It's not going to work out well for you.
And I also think that we need to give people grace because people change. For instance, if a young man gets married in his maybe late 20s, and ends up getting divorced in his, 40s, he's grown. That's a period of 20 years.
Yes, yeah, that's gold. Somebody
Yeah.
else trained him for you.
Yes, so he's matured
Yeah.
now, and a self-reflective person who takes accountability will look back and say, "What did I do wrong in this marriage? How
Yes.
did I contribute to the breakup?" And they will do the self-work that is needed, so that
Yeah.
when they are getting into marriage again, they want to do it better.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be counting wives every day now. Wife number 1, 2, 3. I don't think anybody wants that.
Majority of people don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that majority of people do is they don't know what they're doing when it comes to marriage. But that's not intentional. That's not intentional. A lot of time we think that these behaviors are intentional. Because it's not intentional doesn't mean it's an excuse. I'm just saying keep an open mind. If you meet somebody, and as a woman, let me talk about this. His presence make you feel feminine, make you feel safe, make you feel secure, right? But then something in you, there's an internal belief system that's fighting. There must be something wrong with this person. They already told me that all men are cheaters. If these kind of things are creeping up to the surface for you, you need to work on self. It's not even about that person. You need to go back to the drawing table and work on self. Because if they're a cheater and or you smell it or you don't feel safe, it could be an array of different things, right? But I'm just saying, if you have questions that put you on the edge, there's probably a good reason for it. It could be self. It could also be that you've seen something, but you're lying to yourself that this person is a different person. Believe what they're presenting as.
Exactly. Yeah. So you need to observe people apart from what they are saying.
Yeah.
And time is very, very good in revealing
Time
things.
will tell.
Just
Time
give
will
it
tell.
time.
Which is why I say
And
take
that's
your
why we
time.
always say don't rush into marriage when you meet someone. Date them for at
Yes.
least maybe 6 months, 1 year, so that
Yes.
you can get to know who they
Uh-huh.
are.
That's
Because with
why.
time, they will with time
Yeah.
people will leave their guard and their real self. You can only pretend for a while. You can't keep on pretending.
Yeah.
And
You
you can
can
also
only
know
pretend for so
people
long.
from the way they treat other people.
Exactly. Exactly. Pay attention.
Especially people that they are in a bit of a bigger position, they have power over the way they handle relationships, interpersonal relationship with other people. How do they handle it?
Yeah.
You learn
Exactly.
things about people
How
like
do
that.
you can observe things like how they treat a waiter at a restaurant,
Yes, that's a good one.
right?
Yeah,
The things like that are not specific, but it will tell you a lot.
yeah,
That the way it does might make you feel unsafe, or it might make you feel like, oh, you are the princess. It's treating you special. It's treating other people bad. Then you might want to pay attention, right? So
yeah.
lots
For
of stuff
instance,
I
if you
miss
want
there.
to know if somebody is stingy, they never leave a tip.
Yeah, if that's the main thing for you, and you notice that they don't
If
leave
one of your love
tips.
languages is receiving gifts, you like gift giving. A
Yeah,
stingy person will never tip a waiter. When they go to a restaurant anywhere, they say, did I not pay? Am I
yeah.
obligated? I don't want to.
And you will feel it. You will feel it because if your love language was gift giving or receiving gifts, right? You will feel the pain of the person that did not get.
Yeah.
You will empathize with that person. So these are some of the things. They are open ended in nature. They're not closed ended. They're not yes or no. Just tell me what the score is. If you're moving that way, it's about you. You're afraid of something.
Yeah.
You need some kind of healing. Because the reality is that the best you can do with that, you teach other people to end up ABUSEU. You become a target.
Another thing I want to add before we move on from that question is that if you're going to marry somebody that's been married before, if you yourself have been married before or you've never been married, I think I would strongly advise you to have couples counseling before
Yes,
marriage.
absolutely.
Have
So
therapy together so that you can get to know what their idea of marriage is. And then if they've
yeah,
worked through the issues that led to the breakup of their marriage in the first place,
yes, yes.
a good
So
counselor can help you.
the empire marriage system, that's part of it, right?
Right.
Dare I say, nobody should be getting married without making sure that they're enrolled in something like this with their partner. Remember, they won't let you drive on these streets if you don't go through a class and get a license. With marriage, if you have $30 in my own city and one witness, you will get married. They don't ask you for anything. And guess which one is more dangerous? Right? Marriage is more dangerous. It's just more dangerous to get into it without educating yourself. So if you're listening to this and this is an interesting conversation to you, that means you're a person of a certain age, a person of a certain type of experience, then you should get the cue. Just say, hey, we're going to do this thing together. I need to enroll. We need to enroll in educational program so that we can mitigate the risk. The risk is inevitable. Let me share some numbers, Auntie B. Up to 56% of marriages end in divorce. We already know that part. That's common knowledge, Abby. Up to 75% of marriages face significant challenges. Okay? Not facing, they are facing, not faced, they are facing it. They are living in it like roommates. Okay? Up to 86% of divorcees remarry, meaning baraku nikini, we still want to do it. It's not something we can just say, hey, avoid marriage. It's a lie. Okay? In fact, the reason why you're loud about this topic is because you're obsessed with marriage and you want to do it. So if you already know that's part of who you are, how you made, just learn how to do it. Just learn how to do it. You can't learn how to do it by saying do what works for you. That's not going to make sense. If at your job they don't say do what works for you. They say
Do you
this
know?
is the program. Go through this program.
Ola, there's
Yes, ma'am.
something that people say on social media that I find very scary. I don't know if you've heard it before in the comment section on Instagram. Every time, you know how Nigerians like to talk about relationship, marriage content, he gets all the views and everything. You hear people in the comment section telling you that there's no manual to this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no manual to it.
It's common saying. It's like it rolls off their tongue, like they said something profound. Like we've heard that before. How's that working out for you? We've heard that before. You know, I know what they're saying. Remember, the second part of the system is to tailor the GPS system to your specific story. I know what they're saying, but oftentimes people saying that, they're saying they don't want to hear nothing. Don't tell me nothing. That's what they're saying. You know.
I mean, if you are telling me that what works for one person might not work for another person, that issues are specific to individuals, and so solutions to be like what you are offering, which is based on people's peculiar situation and narrow to their own needs, based off on their own experience of what they are going through in their marriage,
Right.
I will hear that. But why are you telling me that things like you said something just now that men want admiration,
Yes.
they want respect,
Yes. Good
and they
question.
want the loyalty of their wives?
Yes.
So
Loyalty,
you're telling me
admiration, and
that,
respect.
what is that? There's no blueprint for it. There's no manual. Is that not a manual?
Exactly. And most regular human beings agree with that. If they don't agree with that, they agree with women want to feel safe, secure, and loved. We can all agree to that. We don't say love is not enough when we say that, right? Then it becomes, what do you mean by love, right? So now we're tailoring it. But there are some principles across the board when you talk to people that have been doing this for a few decades.
Exactly. That's what you should say instead of saying there's no manual.
Kindness.
There are principles that guide life. There are principles that guide relationship and marriage. And if you don't apply those principles, please, you started already. Kindness,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, kindness, you know. So so when we say, I say God, purpose, self, right? People go into the marriage. What is the most common thing that we hear the lady say? I lost myself. This is real. Men lose themselves inside of marriage because they're trying to appease the other person. Because it's so toxic, and they're just trying to appease the other person. And then before they realize it, the damages is been done, and it's too late, and it's just destroyed anyway. So now they take this same pain, they translate it, they go and transplant it into the next relationship, and it continues. You know, so it's no, there are principles that work. It's just that they need to be tailored. We call it in the copy what we call it application, right? So there's education, everybody knows certain principles, but there's application, right? So there's mathematics, there's applied math, right? That's what we're all trying to say. But then I agree in that respect. And to me, the website on the screen for anybody is www.prestigemarriagesystem.com.
System.com. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so now
Questions?
let's move on. Yeah. I have another question here. Let me quickly shoot this question before we carry on. So Yetunde said, aside from the issue of DV and extramarital affairs, my question is, do we think all marriages issues can be resolved? Aside
Yes.
from DV and infidelity, can you resolve all marriage issues?
So there's no such thing as all. That's part of the rule. There's no guarantee in life. That's part of game, right? There's no guarantee in life, and because there's nothing is guaranteed in life, then we can't guarantee anything, right? Obviously, but what I can tell you is that every issue can be explained, can be even rationalized, provided we're applying social and emotional intelligence. Okay? If you're stuck at what most people call logic, then you're right. You cannot solve all problems when it comes to human emotions, because you are actively discounting people's emotions. You might be saying things like, well, you're a wife. You're supposed to just be a wife and take care of your children, right? And you don't want to talk about how she feels. Or you're saying things like, you are just a man. A man is supposed to just do what a man is supposed to be. Or as a lady, you have a tendency to say like, okay, you paid your children's bill. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? And we're talking about your husband. That man is going to get caught up in his emotions. When a man is caught up in his emotions, it's not a pretty look, as you can see. Right? It's not a pretty look. So if you are considering emotions social intelligence, understanding that there's power dynamics involved in all of this, and that person is supposed to be on your team, not your enemy, right? All issues can be resolved. Will all issues be resolved? No, because we have coconut head. The answer, the blanket answer is no. But can it be resolved? Yes, all issues can be resolved.
It can be issues can only be resolved when the participants are willing to do the work.
Yeah.
But the problem is that, okay, for instance, now you're telling us about this great, coaching that you do for people who basically have, their marriages are troubled and they actually need it. But a lot of women do complain that to get Nigerian mental therapy or any kind of coaching or counseling is nearly impossible.
That's one of the myths. Let's break that myth and that belief system right now, okay? That's one of the myths that the first system solves. The GPS system. It does not say God, purpose, and spouse. It says God, purpose, and self. Gratitude, purpose, and self. You are an influential human being. The things you do affect people in your life without them agreeing to it. This is the biggest secret. It's the number one of the secrets. You are able to influence other human beings. Okay? So if you know that for a fact, instead of you worrying about how that person is just going to get dragged to the table, start with self.
Okay, so don't wait.
No.
Don't wait. If your partner is not interested, you start.
It's actually a blessing. Right? Because remember, the second system is lies to light. Those lies is not just the lies somebody else told you, it's the lies you've been telling yourself or society have told you. It is a lie that two people need to agree before you can start the dance. You can actually go and ask them to dance. They might actually, excuse my French, suck at the dance. The way you lead the dance can make a big difference, right? Now, with that being said, you're not their therapist. That's not what I'm asking you to do. That's why you work on self first. Without asking
Somebody
you to
said,
learn.
in the end, one hand cannot clap. So that negates what you just said.
And that's fine, In the end, one hand cannot clap. In the end, there are people surviving in this world without hands and legs. Remember that. Remember that. Okay? So we're not asking you to go and be somebody's therapy. We're asking you to start with self. We're not asking you that all by yourself you'll be carrying that weight. My clients know that I despise that. If that person is showing you wutu, you need to back off of them. Work on yourself. Work on yourself. So there's no suggestions here that you have to do all the work of other people, of the marriage by yourself. You have to do the work of how you show up by yourself. All by yourself. With support, of course. That's part of the thing here.
Okay, tell us a little bit more about this system, Prestige Marriage System, before, if there's any other question. Guys, we're going to round up soon. If you have any question, please put it in the comment section. Give us a thumbs up. This is a master class. And so this information is actually something people pay for. Okay? I know, but the farm, we are people who value knowledge. We are learning and a learning ground where we learn, unlearn, and we're changing every day because of the knowledge that we're acquiring. So please give us a thumbs up so more people can get this. And if you have any questions, just put in the comment section. Ola, tell us a little bit more about this, your system, marriage system.
Thank you. Let me talk about the assurance system. The third secret,
bit,
right?
Yeah.
The assurance system is designed to create sustainability, right? So we have skills, knowing what to do, especially in crisis. That's secret number one. The second part is support, right? Support, we'll talk about the lies to light system, right? The third one is assurance system, and it's designed. A lot of people, they are subscribed to therapy, they're subscribed to all kind of help, but they do a lot of back and forth. So they will fix it. A pastor, an elder in the family will talk to somebody, they will solve it. And then in another 2 weeks, the issue will rise up again, and they're not talking in the household for potentially 2 weeks to sometimes 3 months. They're just walking on eggshells. So it becomes a lot of back and forth, and those back and forth are not free. They cost you a lot. It's their resentments. it makes it extra more and more difficult to ever be able to trust your partner again, right? So the idea of this one is to plug you into a program for a little while. Now, here's the thing. People overestimate what they can do in 1 year, and they underestimate what they can do in 5 years. What that means is not specifically 1 or 5 years. What that means is that we want quick answer. So we had a client. This person is a Igbo person. And, she's kind of similar to the first one I said. She wanted us to just fix, and overnight, everything is fixed. I said, after, okay, tell us what's going on. What's your story? It's a lot of personal issues, right? She was married to a person that had an accident, and the person smashed their head. So they have episodes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they have children. That's a lot of weight to carry, right? So now, after speaking with her, we realized that, okay, it's not that person is still going through that. They have coping. They have people they are seeing at the medical clinical standpoint and stuff like that. It's just that person too, they are also a coconut head. But guess what? After talking to her, we realized she's the coconut head. So I say, hey, you have to plug into this program for a while. After all, you're paying a one-time fee. So there's no reason. This is going to be the rest of your life. Okay? So just a few weeks in, she thought she figured it out. Because once we tell her, hey, this is a GPS system, this is what it is, this is what it is, like, okay, I got to figure it out. So she like after paying, she wouldn't even show up for the sessions. She wouldn't. So 3 months later, then she came back and was like, well, you paid for it, so let's get back up onto it again. They're doing fine now. These are habits that you have to break, even including the one when it comes to you're going to influence another person. They know who you are. If you are trying to show a new behavior, they have to see it for a while before they can trust you. Right? So, but after a while, we are human beings. We see something, you see new experiences. Eventually, so people say, you just don't trust your husband. Trust is a function of how people show up. Right? If you keep sure, if your husband change you, like, I never trust again, then I lie. If that person have the right system and they're plugged in, and if they start showing you that new experience, your old experience will disappear into the past. The consistency, you get comfortable because you're a normal human being like the rest of us. And now suddenly you woke up 5 years later, wait, I feel like I trust this person. I forgot the stories that happened in the past. That's the idea of the assurance system, is to help you with the sustainability and accountability aspect of it. Because I'll tell you right now, there's not one single client that we've had that does not have their own coconut head.
Of course. We all have our issues. Yeah. And even oftentimes dealing with your own, yourself, reflects heavily on your relationship, on how you relate with other people.
Yes.
We have our own baggage, so definitely, yeah. You don't need to wait. It starts with self. That's what you need to know. Yeah, so get in there. Don't say, oh, but my partner doesn't want. It's not about your partner. It's about you now. Start with self. You say God purpose, and what was the other one?
God purpose, self.
Purpose, self.
So self is self-care, self-love, self-respect. People mimic the level of self-respect you have for yourself. If you feel like you're not getting respect from your wife, check. There's a good chance you lack self-respect. If you feel like you don't have somebody is not loving you, there's a good chance that syphilis don't enter that matter. Oh, by the way, coconut head means pride. And I'm not talking about the healthy pride. I'm talking about ego.
Okay. Bio said, I love the word coconut head. Someone who refuses to learn. No one is perfect, but coconut head as something else. Yeah. We have a little bit of coconut in us. It's just, we should have always, men especially have a lot of coconut head. Nigerian men, a lot of them have coconut head because Nigerian man has a very huge ego. But his ego is not necessarily a bad thing. It's how it shows up on your interpersonal relationship with people.
Yes.
Not to allow it to just control you and say, I'm a man.
If you have to say it, then that's not pride. That's ego. And that's you're going to ego trip yourself.
You will end up in McDonald's.
In McDonald's. Exactly.
You will end up in the poro. Yeah. John said, can you suggest ways for couples to support each other's individual goals and dreams while staying aligned as a partnership? That's a really good question, John.
That's a good question.
Yeah. How do you support one another's goals and dreams and still keeping in alignment with your marriage and your partnership.
Right. So inside of this book, this is our newest book, number one red flag for all the single people. This is a good book. You will get it too when you go. It's for free. You can download it for free. There's a chapter there called the individuality, right? You need to understand that what makes whole, like the scripture says, two shall become one, right? Some people take that literally to the point that you're not supposed to have your own dream anymore, okay? If that person does not have their own dream, first of all, that's a lot of weight on you, okay? So it's like everything goes back to self. It's like a broken record, right? You as a person, you need to give your partner the freedom to express their expectations. So their expectations can be they have a dream, they have a life mission purpose, right? The idea that you're giving them the freedom to even express it, for most people, is more than enough support. They just want to feel they want to have a safe space where they can say, because sometimes when we have dream, we talk about it more than we actually implement sometimes. But it makes us feel good to talk about it. They just need to feel safe. So that's the first step. Do they have the freedom to say, hey, and even to evolve in what that dream are? Some people wake up later and they say, hey, what I want to do is YouTube videos. They wake up at 37 years. You marry them at 27. But here you are with your coconuts and said, I can't expose myself like that. Like, see? Yeah. Right? Now, there's a line that some people cross that might say, but you already know I'm a private person. All this kind of stuff, right? But I guarantee if you lead with your own side of it, it's everything else become easier. Because again, that's always the first step. Self. Your ability to influence other people. Not the ability to control, as opposed to controlling other people. Okay, so that's the first step. Everything else will depend on your particular story.
I think if you want to support, the way you can support, let me add to it. What was that question again now? I've lost the question. John asked the question. What was the question?
How do you support individuals in their own
ways,
dreams, partners, and still maintain? Okay, there you go, and still stay aligned in the partnership.
I think the way to support each other's individual goals and dreams is for you to be present.
There you go.
You have to be present in that. When you have a partner, the first person they talk to when they have ideas about anything is you. You have to be really present to listen.
Yeah.
And don't listen like you want to quickly give them, you want to listen.
Why they shouldn't do it.
You want to shut it down. No, listen.
Yep.
Because the way you can really, really finish people and they will feel like, oh my God, you are not supportive, is when you don't listen and maybe probably take it in for a few days and say, you know what? Let's think about this. Let's pray about it.
Yeah.
But you just shut it down immediately and say, is this what your mate are doing? Like you said, let's use social media, for example. Your partner suddenly wakes up one day and they say, oh, I want to do this thing. You're like, huh? Whoa, why are you doing this? I'm not that kind of person.
Let me say this. For men, this is for my brothers. I know the fear. Up to today, if my wife comes up with some kind of idea that's outside of what I'm already familiar with, as a man, your part of your instinct is to protect, right? So there's this inherent thing that's, let me protect her, even for myself sometimes. So we're already listening to that, the natural aspect of listening to anything that's against as a family unit, whereas we have the opportunity to make decisions without our wives oftentimes, because naturally she's going to listen because she follows us too, right? So I still have that, but this is one of the things you do from an intentional standpoint. Like you said, present. Stay present.
Yeah.
Listen.
Listen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Listen. Yeah. It's very, very important. And it's also very important that even if you're going to disagree or you're going to say, oh, I don't think this is the way you should go, do it with love.
Yeah. If for me, I have a few rules. I'll give a few rules out for free now, right? If it's purely emotional, I'll be opinions. She can have it. I was like, yes, sure, babe. Let's try that. If I feel like she's going to hurt herself in the process, I apply patience.
Yeah, patience.
And we have conversation around it. I will throw up, open-ended questions. Have you thought about this?
Yeah.
What do you think about this one?
Yeah.
Okay, what about this side? We go through what they call in the copy what they call it the SWOT analysis, right? The strength, the weakness, the opportunity. What is the opportunity in what she's suggesting? What are the threats?
Yeah.
Right? One of the number one threats is you as a man, you're like, this woman is about to change my program. Relax. Relax. She needs to hear you. By the way, women naturally yield to what the men are doing. So this is probably her taking herself outside of her comfort zone, but she has a dream. It must be a big deal. She's sharing it. She needs you. But yeah.
I think one of the benefits of marriage is the fact that you always have somebody, to talk to about things, and somebody that can always support you. If you are not a supportive partner, including
Yes.
supporting your individual dreams, because being married doesn't mean that you don't have your individual goals. And if you are not a supportive partner, then you probably need to go and do some work on yourself to ask yourself why. Because some people feel threatened when their partners start thinking of ideas. Whatever they bring up, no, you can't do it. You can't do it.
Yes.
I like
Before
what
they
you
even
said.
understand it. Before they even understand it.
I like how you presented it. That you're saying, you say, oh, have you thought about their angles? The reason why you talk about things is because, usually the fact that you came up with an idea of what you want to do doesn't mean that you've thought it through. At the end of the day, it might not even be something that is good for you. You might decide that, what, it was just a thought. I don't think it's, but leading the person as the leader that you are to think outside the box, that, the questions that you're asking, have you thought about this?
Yes. The blind spots. You're helping them. That's why they need you. You're helping them uncover the blind spots.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What's the impact of this? How is this going to reflect on our family? How is it going to reflect on you? Do you think you're strong enough to be able to withstand, exposure at this level?
Yep.
But even if you have nothing to say, can we pray about this?
Here, let me think about that. You don't have to have an answer. Gentlemen, you don't have to have an answer.
Let's just pray about it and say where God is leading. Instead of just saying, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. I think it's very, very important. One of the a healthy marriage, one of the strongest benefits of healthy marriage is the ability to support one another's dreams while working together as a unit.
Yeah.
Because you always have individual goals that you want to do.
Because again, you're pouring either directly or indirectly into other people, right? So you have to have enough in you to pour into other people. That's why you would notice, again, sound like a broken record, you have to yield back to self. Even if that means that marriage is not meant to stand. You cannot lose.
John, I think you might need to go to this course, because you have a lot of questions. These questions are not things we can address here. You're asking the questions about conflicts, when couples have different or conflicting ambitions. What strategy do you recommend for finding common ground or compromise? You need to go to this
specifics.
course.
That's where we need specifics on that. We need the rest of the story on that one. Because let me say this to that, Auntie V. All ambitions have confliction in it. You know how people say, they might say things like, may God pray for us so we can marry, so we don't marry the wrong person. Guess what? Everybody married the wrong person. Okay, it's up to you how you see it. And I'm not talking about extremes. Okay, everybody's going to go through a phase, an event, an experience that make you question, like, show me right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. John, you definitely need to hit Ola up and go for that course. It will help you.
I think Brother Bio had a question. Brother Bio, how far now? How you doing?
I like the questions that John is asking. These are really, really good questions, because you know how you always say, man of prestige, that is the little things that make people to go apart, and you start, if I
they
feel
just grow apart.
Yeah, you grow apart because of things like this.
Yeah.
And then the relationship becomes very, very cold. You are disconnected emotionally from one another.
Awkward energy everywhere.
And then no kerewa, before you know, my sisters will fight for divorce.
They will start before they even know that we entertain other ideas. They'll fantasize about other different ideas, because everybody they yearn for growth. So if it seems stagnant in that marriage, somebody is already fantasizing about that growth somewhere else.
I like the question Chidima is asking. She said, please explain the difference between control and influence. That's a really good question.
Chidima, my G, what's going on? That's That's a prestige. Sorry, Auntie B. For me, 1 second. That's a prestige family. Okay.
Ola,
All right. Okay. Okay.
1 hour, 20 minutes, Latish. Oh, yeah. We have 10 minutes
All right.
more.
All right. So control and influence. Okay. So everything we cover is about attraction. We use attraction. We don't use anything outside of attraction. We need the other person. You need the other person to be operating from a place of free will. They want to be there. They want to do it for you. They want to raise your kids. They want to make sure you are the most happiest woman in the world. That's why when somebody comes to us and say, maybe you can help us correct us, and say, correct us, Bambitibawo, you are the one that will do the work. We are just going to support you. We'll give you the skills, the support, and the sustainability engine because we have to change habits, right? So control is like, now say something, it will change it. Control does not involve time, patience, prayer, right? Process. Control does not care about any of those things.
Control is my way or the highway.
Yes. Influence is about you. You're just that good. People just want to take care of you. People see the way you take care of yourself, they want to care for you. People see the way you love yourself, they want to be a part of that. They see the way you respect yourself, they don't decide that they respect you, they just respect you. That's why, gentlemen, you don't ask or demand for respect. If you do that, it will never work. It will get worse. Not only will it not work, it will actually get worse. You attract more disrespect because she will look at you like, this one's mad. Respect as how? That's what I came into this marriage doing, and you are still asking me for more respect. She might not even be able to put it into words, but she doesn't choose to respect you. It's just what you attract or what you don't attract. So to the question, influence is a function of self, adequate self, right? Process, prayer. Sometimes prayer are involved in this, right? Patience, time, right? Because anything that's worthwhile in life, will cost you time.
So me, I will just define it because Allah, you have the big words more than me. Control is, this is it. We are doing it this way. End of.
You said what?
No. Control is,
like now.
We are doing it this way. This is how we're going to do it, and that's it.
And that's it, yes.
It's not open for any conversation. It's not open for your opinions. It's not open for any discussion. This is it.
Yep.
Take it or leave it. Whereby influence is when you are able to affect someone, your partner. You're able to affect because of what you are doing. Naturally, you're just doing things in terms of your character, the way you treat them, the way you talk to them, and the behavior just gets you what you want. It's getting people to do what you want by showing them with your behavior and the way you handle situations, and without even saying it, it's done.
You don't have to say it.
It's done.
You don't. If you have to say it, I'm not saying don't say it, but I'm just saying, if it was working, everybody would be doing it.
You just affect people by the way you treat them and the way you show them. It's leadership. Influence is true leadership.
It's a big
part. And it's leadership by example.
It's a big part of the program. You have to be able to influence. And most of us, we were trained to just, ask and it shall be given. I'm not saying it won't be given, no. I'm just saying when it involves another human being and their own mental health, it might not be that simple.
B.O. is asking a question that is not open and closed.
I like it.
He said, in your experience helping struggling marriage, who is more difficult to deal with, men or women? That's a really, really.
Let me answer it. The person who is complaining is the most person to deal with. Funny enough, but because remember that first step, right? It's a very difficult process for a lot of people, right? When I say it's not about your partner, let's worry about you first. That part is very difficult because they've internalized the hurt, the pain they've gone through. So it's almost they can't comprehend the idea that they could have things to work on. It's a very difficult thing. But shout out to the brotherhood. I think women are difficult to deal with. No, I'm just kidding. We can't generalize. We can't do that.
I would think it's not. You can't just say this gender is more difficult. It depends on the situation and the couple.
Yeah.
It depends on the individual couple. For me, I'll say anybody in a couple is a person that lacks accountability.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
That is more difficult to deal with. When they are always like,
yeah,
"Oh, I'm perfect. I never do anything wrong.
yeah,
Fix
yeah.
him, fix
Yeah.
her. You know, she's the problem."
There's so many angles to look at it. All of the angles point towards pride, coconut head, the person that, like you said, accountability. They don't see how they could possibly be the driving force in the experience they are creating.
Yes. Or even contributing to it. Ola, you cannot make any changes, any meaningful changes in your relationship without being accountable.
No, you can't.
You
No, you
gotta
can't.
be
Yeah.
accountable and you gotta reflect and okay, why is this woman acting crazy? She's not always been like this.
Yep.
What's going on?
Yeah.
What am I
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah. What am I doing? Why am I? Even if it's as simple as maybe I shouldn't be here. Remember, part of my stories, I took on a gig that involved me traveling so I can leave some space. Right? Because there's usually, when you've gone through this type of experience, there's clouds of all types. That needs to clear before we can. So that was one of the first steps that I took. I have a few people in my life too, that helped me in that regards. Some of them are 70-plus-year-old people that had experience. One of them is my uncle. The first thing he said, I've given this example multiple times, he said, leave her alone. I said, but she did this, she did this, she did that, she did that. He said, leave her alone. I didn't understand the wisdom in that for a long time, Auntie B. So we now ended up at a family meeting. Now that my uncle was invited to the family meeting, right? And my mother-in-law put together the family meeting with my parents' pastor. What do you think the point of that meeting was? Is to hold everybody else accountable, right? And so after the people that called the meeting, after they deliver everything they want to say about what happened, like we're talking about 90 minutes of everything that's wrong on quote unquote the other side, even though we're all supposed to be one team. When they were done, they said, so Ola, what do you have to say about this? I said, I've heard everything. I'm going to take them all in and I'm going to process them. I think I learned a lot today. Everybody was
short and sweet.
Everybody was like, you could just like you could see the veins popping in my parents' face because they are trying to protect their son. I'm somebody's son. You can say my mom was like she was, and then she tried to say something, and then my father grabbed what I was trying to do and said, nope, you're not going to say anything, no, leave it alone. Leave it alone. He said.
And one thing about you, Ola, you are very patient. I've noticed that about you. You're a patient guy. I don't know if you're like that in your everyday life, but on this YouTube street, you are quite patient.
Yes, it's part
and
of
that
the
is
game.
something that a lot of people
Thank
don't
you for
have.
that, though.
Yeah,
It's very difficult.
guy.
It's easier said than done. It's patience. Remember, I said there are 3 P's, right? Patience, process, prayer, right? Patience, process, prayer. Influence, patience, process, prayer. If you don't have that, you cannot be inside of. You cannot lead a marriage. That's number one.
Ṣebí Yorùbá said pé sùúrù ló fi ń ṣọkọ obìnrin.
No, Ebenezer Obey ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ àti bí kò ṣe Yorùbá.
Ebenezer Obey ló sọ. Yorùbá kan ló sọ. But that's loaded.
Yeah, it's loaded. Yeah. So, and that's easier said than done. That's why the program exists. You need support. Today, right now, if you can do it, the secret, I've shared it all. Okay? This is it. What you need us for will be support. Human being, coconut head, emotions, no be your mate. Okay? You're not going to flip finger and snap finger and change to somebody else overnight. You were made a certain way. You were raised a certain way. You saw a lot of things. You've gone through some hurt, some pain, some betrayals, some deception, right? You imported a whole human being and they have the audacity to tell you how to run your household. Abi, you were imported. Now they want to make you a slave for the rest of their lives, right? Either way you want to look at it, right? These are very difficult things to walk through. But you don't have any other choice. You can do it now or you can go and do it in the court.
Yeah. I like this question. This is the final one we're going to take, by the way, because I need to go.
Auntie B, you did overtime. Oh.
I have. What can I do now? Shebi na you. CA said, how does the married couple handle external family pressure and expectation that can break the marriage? Again, in-laws. Ola, over to you.
Hey, in-laws. Okay, so
In-laws.
this is part of the system, the second system, the lies to light. Okay, I know this is going to be difficult for those that have collected shege wutu from in-laws, right? They're actually a blessing, right? They're not responsible for your marriage. Oftentimes, they're actively trying to protect one side. Oftentimes, when you tell them one side of the story, when you have moved on from that issue, remember they don't live with you. They're stuck there. What I just said is very simple. You can write it on paper, right? But how do you remember that when that auntie-in-law is still acting mad? When they trigger you, when you want to just slap somebody? How do you remember that, right? Now, what about all the damages they've created, all the resentments? What about when they don't know when to stop, right? What about different belief system, right? Different belief system. What about when you are being dragged and your husband is busy defending you because you are him ultimately, but you don't see that part. He doesn't want you to see that part because he also doesn't want to drag his family. This is a very difficult thing to deal with. It's part of what comes with marriage, right? Because it's two families getting married. Either you agree to it or not. That's just the reality.
Yeah.
So,
But she's. I mean, it's leading to. I mean, we know marriages have ended because of in-laws, right?
yes, yes. But you can't blame the
So,
in-law. It's because there's a crack in the wall. If there's a crack in your walls, alang ba mawobe, lizard go enter.
so how do you handle the cracks so that you don't allow the alangba to enter?
Self, right?
I'll break it down. You said self before.
No, I'll break it
Practical
down.
things that you can do as a couple.
Hey, patience now, to be. Let's self. I'm going to tailor it to self. Okay, Lefe? Wait, I'm
I
going
need
there now.
more. I need
I'm going there.
more.
I'm going to give you more. I'm going to give you more. Wait. I'm going to give you more, right? Self, right? Self, I'm going to tailor it to self, okay? When you have enough in you, right? Because again, if you've been in the people that can understand, there are people that have been there already, right? You need to go back to self. You need to go back to what is it about you that's internalizing what they might be saying to you, okay? I'll tell you one extremely difficult one, right? Let's say you have all girls, right? And then the talk around the family is that one does not have a boy, does not that one that doesn't. And as Nigerian, like today, just today in my church, somebody gave a testimony, right? And he said in the beginning, him and his wife, they decided that it's going to be 3 children and that's it. He doesn't care if it's boys or girls, as long as it's 3, it's fine. And he now added something to, he said, but you know, women, they want the boy. I don't know why. Now, in this internet street, most people will say it's men that insist that men. But it's not, one is not more true than the other. It's men and family in-laws that have made women because of the sense of fulfillment. If they don't
Yeah.
have that, because they want
Yeah.
to satisfy that. So it's
Yeah,
both,
they don't feel
it's,
safe. They
it's
don't
both
feel
ends.
safe. Yeah.
Right. So at me, you were right. If I didn't break that down to explain it how it's actually both end, but you have to start with self, right? It's a very difficult thing to navigate, right? Because it makes you question yourself. All of this, people can only drag you when you are questioning yourself. When they've said something to you that make you question how awesome of a human being you are. Okay? And there are internal beliefs that also makes that happen.
So the question of the in-laws, what I can just add to it, Ola, let's share your contact details again. People that want to reach you, we've done the Q&A, and we're rounding up now, guys. I hope you
Share,
found
hit
it.
the like button, share this video, hit the like button. We're trying to get out to be to 100,000 subscribers. So
I thought you were going to say $100,000. I'll take that.
we take that too.
I'll take that.
We'll
Oh.
take that one too, right? So please, share this, share this, share this, share this. I have more that I can share. If you want me to come back, please share. A lot of people will benefit from this stuff. The regular rhetoric out there is that your husband or your wife is your enemy. Don't bring them abroad. Okay, that's the regular. Those things tend to go more viral. Go figure, right? So let's get back to the real deal in any of this stuff. Don't bring your wife or your husband abroad. It's not the issue. It has never been the issue. Okay, it's something about you that you are questioning. It's something about you. Controlling and manipulation tactics will never work. This is why we go to people like Basketmouth's wife to go and tell her to go back to her husband. That is your conduct. We all have it at one level or the other. When it comes to relationships, could it work? It cannot work.
So the issue of the in-law, what I wanted to say about in-laws is that when you are
Yes.
dating, if you are not married yet, I think you should have conversations around how you are going to how you are going to relate with in-laws. Okay? It is very, very important to have those conversations because I saw something on social media, I think a few days ago, where this girl was asking another woman, if your husband slap your mother, what will you do? Yes,
I think I saw that. Yes,
that was the
yes.
question. And she was like, I will go to my husband and ask him why, and I will talk to him differently.
Right.
And
Are
I
you
will
sure
go
my
to my
wife didn't
mom.
post that? I think my wife posted it on Lola and Lola on
And
Instagram.
then she now said, I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah. She didn't think it's a big deal.
She
Yeah.
didn't think it's a big deal that her husband will put his hands on her own mother.
Yeah. Assault is always a big deal, even on the children. It's always a big deal.
So that's a
It's
mindset
always
there
a
for
big deal.
you.
That's a
Somebody
mindset.
that can accept that kind of behavior to her mother, you know her own body is gonna be just
She will do it.
it's a punchy bag.
Not
You
only
know.
that, Auntie B, she would do it. It's like women that will say, men are allowed to cheat. I said, that woman is a cheater.
Yes. I said it on a show we did a few days ago that if your wife doesn't see anything wrong with you cheating, she's
Yeah.
either cheating or she wants to buy you soon.
Yeah.
It's one of the two.
Yeah, she doesn't care.
Yeah.
She doesn't
She's
care.
cheating or she
Yeah.
wants to buy you because
Yeah.
by nature, human beings, we are jealous. God is a jealous God.
Yep, we're
Nobody
territorial.
will allow anybody they love to
Yep,
be
we're
with another
territorial.
person. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the issue of the in-laws is something that you need to agree on. So you have conversations like, if your mother comes and how do we deal with, if there's an issue with my mother or your father, if you have both parents, how do we deal with it? Have
So
conversations like that.
I don't disagree with that, Auntie B. It just depends on the specifics, right? So, for example,
Yes.
people will live overseas, and Baba and Mama is coming in July,
Yeah.
and they want to come and stay with you. But not only that they want to come and stay with you, you and your wife, you're not on the same page inside of the relationship right now in this moment. So it becomes a matter of it's duty. You're not going to tell me not to bring my parents. They don't
So
have anywhere else to stay.
you can have conversations around if they can visit at the same time because I think, I don't know, and how long they can stay for.
Let me
You
give you a
know?
better example, Auntie B. I want you to answer this one. Okay? You are living in London. You and your husband, you're not on the same page. You're paying most of the bills. Baba and Mama are coming. You're not on the same page with them too. In fact, they have dragged you and you can't stand them right now. You have the powers in your hand to say, you don't want these people to come right now. No. We're not having a conversation. As far as your mind is set up right now, no. These people are not coming here right now. How do you undo that? Do we just tell this madam, don't do that? Right? Abi, do we tell the husband to be patient?
I think they have to quickly resolve whatever issues they have before Mama and Papa comes, because that's just going to amplify everything. So I think it comes down to having a conversation. Sit down and
I'm
talk.
triggered. I'm triggered, Auntie B. You said quickly.
No, not quickly. I said you need to find a way to each other back because trust me, when the in-laws come, it's going to escalate.
That's
That
why I
marriage
gave.
might not.
That's
It
why
won't
I gave
survive.
the.
It won't survive.
I don't disagree with you again. That's how I gave the answer. There are some specifics there that we will need to know on how to
If
navigate
you cannot,
that. It won't be as simple as that conversation.
I will travel. While the Mama and Papa are here, I will travel.
In
When
your
they
own house,
come,
you are the
come
one
back.
paying the bills, Auntie B.
I will travel now and leave the house for them.
What if you say, I don't want to travel, I'm the one that's paying this bill, they should go and find somewhere else to stay.
Ha. Yeah, lágbára o.
Ṣé kó lágbára?
That was strong go. I don't know.
Everybody's case is different.
That's serious.
Yeah,
That's very, very serious. Maybe they shouldn't come. It won't be a good idea for them to come if things are not good.
Yeah. It's a very difficult. It's a very none of anything we've said on this session today is easier said than done. None of it
It's
is
not
easy.
easy at all.
Yeah.
It's not easy at all. I don't know. In-laws matter. I think boundaries we always talk about boundaries, how you need to set boundaries with your own in-laws. I think it's easier. Do you know what I think? What
With your own in-laws, right? With your own
with
in-laws.
your own
Yeah.
parents.
With your own
Yeah.
parents. Yes, yes,
It's
yes,
always
yes.
easier
Yeah.
for you to deal with your parents instead of having your partner deal with your parents. So
Yeah.
everybody should deal with their parents.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
for
yeah.
instance, if your wife's parents are acting crazy,
Mm-hmm.
don't deal with them. Have your wife deal with them.
Right.
Again, like you said, Ola, it's never it's not about the in-laws, it's about the two people already.
Mm-hmm.
If your relationship was good,
Mm-hmm.
then there won't be an issue of in-laws coming to amplify anything or cause war. Even if they are causing war, they are
Mm-hmm.
troublesome people. If your
Yeah.
relationship is good, you'll be able to resolve it and handle
Yes.
it collectively.
Yes, thank you, Auntie B. That's why I said one thing before the other. None of this
Yeah,
is ever going to be simultaneously. You just talk and
yeah.
everything. No,
I
it's going to be
mean,
layers by layers. We'll peel
yeah.
the layers. That's going to take time, so it will not be quickly. That's why I said Auntie B triggered me when she said quickly, right?
I don't know. I thought it's something
Ideally,
we can do meeting with. So I just agree and forgive each other. Oh.
Auntie B, let me say this. Sorry, real quick. The this situation, ideally, if I was a man of prestige, right? And I know that my wife is the one paying the bills. I go tell Baba and Mama, hold off for now. I have
What are they
issues.
coming to do? Who is going to pay for their tickets?
Auntie B, they're coming to Yankee now. My siblings pay for the tickets. Yankee is not anybody's mate now. Right?
Wahala.
But now I will have to say, hold off for now. You know, remember you said ideally I would do that. But if it's an average man in my own house, I'm the one that imported you. I know you make more money than me. Yeah, I lost my job 2 months ago, and now you're acting like you think you are special. Who do you think you are? Who is going to marry you?
Well, I saw a video the other yesterday. This young guy said that the mom came to America
Right.
and was staying with the senior brother who is married to an American woman. And when the mom came, she saw that the brother, a typical Igbo woman, so that her own son that she raised is in the
Yeah.
kitchen.
Yeah.
He's washing plates and doing stuff, cooking, cleaning. And so the
But
mom
that's
got
also sure.
angry, was very angry, and called the younger son and said, "Come and take me away from here. This is abomination.
Yes,
How
yes,
can my
now.
son? They've turned my son to a woman in America. I can't
Yes,
stay
it will
here."
piss her off, of course. It will piss her off.
The boy told the mama, I said, "Mommy, please
Oh,
don't
Bernie.
come to my house. My own house is worse."
Sorry, yo.
He said, "I'm even changing pampers in my house. If you come, you won't like it."
She's washing pata.
He said he's changing diapers for the
He's washing the baby's
children.
pata.
For his children. So I mean, when I was going through the comment section, I was laughing because a lot of them are Americans, right? So culturally, they don't understand where mama is coming from.
They don't get it. They don't
No,
get
they
it.
don't. They don't
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
why mama is acting that way. To
Yeah.
them, it's like, oh, who is gonna do it for him? Who is gonna cook for him? So I'm like, okay, there's something here you guys don't understand.
Yeah.
Mama does not have that orientation that a man. So the guy said something in the video. He said he told his mom that even if we are chiefs, that we have chieftaincy, we drop it when we are coming to America. We drop that chieftaincy in the
Yeah.
airport. We don't bring it here.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And then he said something in
Yeah.
that video. He said,
Respect
if you see
yourself.
a happy couple in America, everybody is doing what needs to be done.
Yeah,
to
because
get the
that's
marriage
what that's what teamwork is.
Yeah.
You know how people argue that it's not a partnership, it's a marriage. I'm like, in Yato, later man, why do you like to argue with your destiny? What's the difference between marriage and partnership? Well, it's a partner is supposed to be 50. No, that's not what partnership means. Partnership can be you
You've not
only
seen
have
partnership
5%
of
in it.
you've not seen partnership of 100 against 99 against 1%.
They never
Who
see it
told you
before.
is equal partnership?
So they come up with all this rhetoric that in reality actually still doesn't make sense. Even in reality.
Ola, you need John to sign up. He says he's an Undo man like you because he's asking way too many questions that we can handle here. He's asking what boundaries should be established to maintain a healthy relationship with in-laws, papa and mama, while living together. So yeah.
Again,
you have to sign up to the course. How is it going to reach you? Ola, John needs you.
Send a text message to +173 305 8577. This in-law thing is specific by specific. And to be, we've gone as far we can go when it comes to generalizing it, right? Which is there needs to be boundaries. But that boundaries will end up in a poto if it's not an agreement between you and your spouse.
Yeah.
Most people, when they say boundaries, what they are talking about is their low tolerance. That's not boundaries. That's an act to that's an attempt to control other human beings. It doesn't work when there are actual active relationships in people's life. You will have another person who will disagree with you, and that boundary will need some kind of unity, right? So if we're talking about you're living together and you're the first that you got to be on the same page with the person that you live with. If you don't have that, then you have one choice. The example I gave, you say, I pay for these bills. Maybe you feel like, well, we're in the potopoto anyway already. I pay these bills here. They can't come for now. We need to sort out our issue for. That's an ultimatum, but you better have a plan to fix that marriage, because that will turn to resentment and that will end up hurting you.
So if everybody is doing their own work, in a situation with that scenario you gave, Ola, the man who's lost his job is stressed now. He's going through a lot because he
Yes.
can't provide. He's trying to look for a job. He's not in a good place mentally.
Yes.
Okay? He's already dealing, life is life in him already. He's dealing with the law.
Yes.
If I were him, in an ideal situation, I'll say to my parents, you know what? This is not a good time.
Yes.
I know you want to come to Yankee, but I lost my
It's wrong
job.
timing. I'm just
Yeah.
lie to them. I'm moving. We're in the middle of moving.
Yeah, no, you can even tell them I lost my
whatever.
job. I'm trying to find
Yeah.
another job.
Yeah.
It's not a good time.
Whatever you have to do, because you don't owe them anything. You need to be good first as an individual before you can take care of parents, right? Because it's not sustainable to try to bring them to Yankee when you're not in a good place, So
when you
you're
leave
right.
the issues for your spouse to fix with your parents, it always ends up badly.
Listen, when they are in the house and you have issues, the issues are magnified 10,000 times. Because a giriloti or girileti, they are listening to everything. They can hear it. You don't have to say anything, by the way. We don't say anything. We go to the park to talk. They can hear the spirit, the tension in that relationship. It just gets worse, right? So if you have a way to say they should stay away from now, that's what needs to happen. If you are the man asking this question, if you are the woman asking this question, I don't know how to tell you, because again, this kind of people also, they tend to be the people that have not made their wife feel safe when things were good. That's the only reason why this is coming up. Usually, if you lost a job and you're in good terms with your wife, nobody will know, because there was unity in that situation. You guys will be unified already, right? We won't have this question. The reason why this question coming up is because there's a division, there's an active division between the husband and the wife. Even if you can afford it and the wife parents are coming over and you are between jobs, if there's no division between the two of you, it's not an issue as long as you can afford it. They will come, right? Because you guys are on the same page, right? And the boundaries you want to draw is between you. Obviously, they cannot chime in on issues that has to, hey, I got that. Thank you. I'll take care of that part, So, Auntie B, I think we should round up. We did more
Okay,
than-
thank you. Yeah, Ola. So this is how they reach you. So anybody that wants to register for this course or to have this session with Ola,
It's a coaching program. It's an
Coaching
academy.
program, yeah.
You can also go to prestigemarriageacademy.com. It goes to the same place. It's an opportunity for you to educate yourself, and the education. Most people that find this valuable are people that will have to go through some kind of healing. They know what it feels like on the other side. So this is going to be a process. Every couple needs it. Every couple. I don't care if you're in a good space. If you're in a good space, that's even better. But everybody will go through something one way or the other. You want to be prepared to handle that, or at least have a support system to handle that. When you're in crisis, your spouse is not your support system. They're not your therapist. They're not your counselor. It's a bad idea to bring negative things to your spouse, especially if there's active disagreements going on. But guess what we do first? We go to them. We show them. We
go to our spouse, go to our parents.
we drag. Yoruba people say anybody needs to learn jaropalu. Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's better for you to go to people who are trained that can actually help you. Stop going to friends, there are some issues that, if it's just small issues, probably you can talk to friends or whatever. But don't stop going to parents. Like Ola said, when you move on from there, your parents will not move on. They will hold
they
on
don't
to
move
that
on.
against your
Yep.
partner.
And they will remind you and trigger you
I
2 years later.
strongly advise against going to your parents. I know this is how we used to do things back in the day, but in this day and age, it's not the best way.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Have you enjoyed this show? Please give us a thumbs up.
I wish we had to be okay. So let's do this. Let me ask this question to everybody. Okay, it's based on what answers we have, right? if you felt like you wanted to call in or you have more questions or
There are so many questions I didn't take in the comment section
put a
because of
one in the
time.
chat because I want to let Auntie Beats go and rest her voice. Put a one in the chat and then I'll go live in about 1 hour. And then I can address all the questions you might have. I'll go live on Men of Prestige. If you want me to do that, I didn't plan to go live today. I was just gonna relax. But if you want me to do that, put a one in the chat. If not, then it's okay. You can always reach me at +1 732 305 8577, preferably on WhatsApp. Either way is fine. And you can download the free books at prestigemarriagesystem.com. You can also access all of the information.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. So Allah is on Man of Prestige. So go to the platform and then ask your questions. Ask away. He's a trained marriage coach. So you remember, it's not about your partner, it's about you. Self, 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 self. God, purpose, self. So go there and am I register allow because me too I need it along, but
Well, I
am I
need it.
register?
Yeah, my wife and I
Am
were
I
still
register?
going through this. Our clients are our trainers. We're learning so
Mm-hmm.
much in the process because everybody's story is different too. So
Mm.
yeah,
Okay. Thank you very much for coming, Ola, and we'll speak soon. Yeah.
thank you so much. As we'll talk soon.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
bro.
Yeah.
Take care. So, guys, the details to reach Ola is on the screen. Is Man of Prestige coaching is www.prestigemarriage.system.com or send a text to the number on the screen. Thank you very much. I shall see you guys on Tuesday. Have a good evening. Actually, tomorrow is a bank holiday. We have holiday tomorrow. Look out. I might just come online tomorrow. Yeah. Why not? Yes, yes. Tomorrow. Let's do a live tomorrow. I've not been able to do live for a few days now. Okay. I'll catch you guys tomorrow then. Yeah. Should we talk about the DNA? Or we should talk about Harry song? I'll be walking up where which one should we talk about? Let me know. DM me on Instagram. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you guys soon. I love you. Bye, guys. Have a good evening. Have a good afternoon. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and share this video. Thanks, guys. Join Man of Prestige. You'll learn something. Absolutely. Bye, guys.